No. We'll do it live!
Hello everyone, this is Super Kelly Brothers. My name is Sloan Kelly.
My name is Jody.
Oh, damn it. To stream. Sorry. Sorry, say that again, Jody.
My name is Jody Kelly.
And my name is James Baker.
And yeah, thank you all for joining us. This is our first YouTube channel, so I've got a ton of buttons, and it's controls I'm not familiar with. It's a bit like that episode of Star Trek with Worf, and he keeps on going to parallel universes, and he comes out and he goes, "I do not understand the configuration." That's what I'm doing just now.
I get that. I understand that.
Jody's like,
everyone's a Star Trek thing.
I know. So anyway, so thank you for joining us in our first our YouTube channel for our first live streaming event. If you would like timely reminders, then please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll get notified when we upload a video. And if you like this video, smash the like button and consider sharing us on Facebook, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. Guys, we're live. We should be careful what we say. I'm saying that for myself as well as everybody else. And of course, we have a chat as well. So we have YouTube chat if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can ask us questions and comments and all that kind of stuff. So David's already got a comment in there and says "wash hands." So there you go. So apparently I'm going to do that as well. I don't know what he means.
David.
I don't know what he means by washing hands, but okay. So, what's the first topic? What are we going to talk about? Seeing as how we discussed this at length last night.
Well, what we got movie posters. We're talking about video shops, old video shops, VHS, and streaming. So, what do you want to kick off with? We go video shops.
Let's go video shops. Yeah,
video shops, movie posters, then streaming.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Well, listen, I just wanted, that was obviously we discussed it during the week, and it was one of the things I want to talk about because I've got fond memories of going to the video shop, and it's just a thing that kids just don't understand these days. And I just wondered what everyone's first experience was heading down to the video shop. You know, probably pre-Blockbuster, I would have thought probably something like Azad or Global or something, you know, and I don't know what, Jody, what was your first experience down at the video shop?
Well, mine was probably the same as Sloan's. We've got two experiences of VHS video. One is of there was a couple of video shops in Girvan, and they had remember it was a Betamax versus VHS at the time. And VHS obviously won, and we never had a Betamax. It wasn't even the radar, and so we headed down to the video shop getting our VHSs from the top loader VHS.
Top loader, nice one.
And what's that? Sorry,
it's a GVC. Is it
GVC?
GVC.
That was a good quality VHS.
It was, yeah.
It was before the long play VHS videos. Remember them?
Yes.
And you used to be able to record in short. Was it sped up? So you could record 4 times the length. But if you put it in an ordinary VHS, it would be like dead slow.
Yeah. It was a 4-hour TDK, could become an 8-hour thing. The quality wasn't as good.
Right.
But
yeah, that's right. So yeah, we God, I remember videoing. I remember going to the video shop and ordering things we shouldn't order. And
did you do that?
We just used to get them. Just used to give us them, I think. Or Dad do it, Sloan, Quadrophenia and things like that. Are you there?
Hang on a second.
Sloan's having audio problems.
This is the thing. This is what happens when you're live.
Aye. Just ignore Sloan just now. He's not there. He's gone. He's gone.
He's away.
Yeah, we used to get like Quadrophenia. We used to get kind of dodgy 18 movies.
I know, and they were
far
just
too young to watch them.
Aye.
Yeah, the Groove Tube. I remember my dad had watched that and thinking it was dead funny, but not quite realising how rude it was and stuff. Remember the Cheech and Chong?
It just seemed.
Remember Cheech and Chong? Remember them?
Yeah.
There's all those kind of things, you know. And I remember there were only being like 4 copies. But I remember when ET came out in video, there was like 4 copies, and that was it. So you had to wait. You had to wait for ages. Remember, Sloan, when ET came out and it was only 4 videos. Do you remember that, dear?
I do. What, dear?
And, yes. Do you remember that, dear?
I do. Yeah.
No,
So
I'll pay for the scones.
What?
Aye, so you had to wait for
Put
like
your
Back to
purse
the
away.
Future or whatever the biggest VHS was. That was the one you wanted, and it was always out because they only had 4 copies of it.
What was the time frame when a film left the cinema before it hit the video shop?
Years. I remember.
Years, wasn't it?
I remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we were waited for, I don't know, at least 18 months before it came out on there. And then it was like a 4-week waiting list as well.
That's what I'm saying. It was because there was only a few copies, but they were always out, so you could never get them unless you like queued out the door type thing. Kids these days, they just don't understand, do they?
They just.
I don't want this live video to be like that, but the topics we have are a wee bit like that.
Do you remember if you got a video on a Saturday night, you used to be able to get it till a Monday morning?
That's right. Yeah.
You got like an extra night.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
God, I forgot.
I also remember kind of later on with VHSs. Do you remember there was a shop in, you might know this, James, but there was a shop in Ayr, and if you had a video card, it wasn't manned, and you could swipe your card, you were let in, and then it was like a kind of like a sweetie dispenser, but it was videos. So you'd beep 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 boop boop your whatever your
and occasionally you'd push buttons.
What did you used to do, Jody?
You used to go beep beep boop 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 on the old keypad. Oh, sorry, or was it boop boop beep beep beep? One of the two.
Then I think it depends on your pin.
Yeah, and then you'd pick whatever video you wanted, and then it would come out like a Twix.
No, I vaguely
experienced those shops. No,
like so they have these boxes here called.
It might have been DVD at that point, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Redbox DVD, and that's what you do. You go up and you say what movie you want, and then you put in your credit card, and then you get the movie out of it, and you can rent. Yeah. So there are still rentals. You can still rent movies, but they're just vending machines now.
You didn't get the cover. It was just like in a CD, the slipcase thing.
Yeah.
Aye. I remember.
What about you, James? What was your first experience?
Oh, I think my first experience was, you were talking about Betamax. Years ago, before Betamax was about, my dad bought a Philips video player. The Philips video player was quite unique. The cassette was about that thick, and it was a square, and it only had one cog. I have no idea how it worked. So literally, the winding mechanism was just one massive cog. Mm-hmm. And it was Philips. And if you wanted to rent a video, this is back way before video shops existed, you had to send away for it. So he sent away and got Jaws. And I remember Jaws arriving in this huge brown, thick, padded envelope. And then we had to send it back, way before Love Film. Remember Love Film? Kind of existed for a bit. You could get a couple of DVDs for a weekend. But we got this and we played it on the Philips player. And you know how you're talking about that top loader thing? Yeah. When you put the Philips cassette into it, you had to, your fingers were buckling back the amount of pressure you had to put on to push in the cassette. And then when you pushed the button was that thick. I'm not kidding. And your finger was it was white. It was like, ah. And eventually you could press play and you could watch a film. So that was my first experience of renting a video.
The pain.
But then we got a Betamax. And I remember going to there's a couple of shops in Troon. They were across the road from each other. And there was one section, probably 3/4 of it was VHS. And then there was another quarter of Betamax. I was lucky enough to have a VHS and Betamax player in the house.
Did you?
And I remember thinking, I could choose everything from here.
Because the better quality, the actual better quality was Betamax, wasn't it?
So they said. I mean, I didn't notice at the time because I wasn't looking at it. But I guess if you'd done it,
unless you compared, you had a side by side comparison, you wouldn't know. But
And I just remember thinking
anyway,
we got Conan the Barbarian, which
brilliant.
the front cover, as we're coming onto movie posters, was far better than the actual film.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that was probably my first experience. And one of the things I did like, see, as video shops were getting more progressive, you got the video card. And I used to like having the family video card in my wallet. I used to think it was a bit kind of sexy. Is that the wrong word to say?
At a certain age.
Wrong adjective. Yeah. Like, yeah. I've got the family video card. No, thank you for that. So I don't know. Yeah. I guess that lets you know where I'm at in my head.
Yeah.
Dave's made a good point there about.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, David's made a good point there about the worst bit was the argument of what movie to get, because you'd have all these, thousands of movies on display, and it'd be like, well, what are we going to get? And it's like, oh, let's have a comedy. I don't want a comedy. I don't want this. I don't want that. And that's Netflix does that now, because you just scream through all the selection, and Netflix going, I don't really want to watch that.
You could probably spend a good length of a movie, scrolling through what you want to pick.
Yeah,
nobody agrees. Yeah. So what about you, Sloan? What was your thing?
My favourite
Jay's thing first.
There's Jay. Jay will be on with us pretty soon. That's my niece.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, hello. Jay. So do you guys have a favourite memory or experience from a video store? It feels like I'm definitely missing out with not having that experience. Yeah, Jay's quite considerably younger. She's less than half my age.
I think Quentin Tarantino said that video rental places was basically his film school, and I definitely think that, because there was a lot of times in there where you go and you go, like, I've seen all these movies, I wonder what that's like, and you would pick up this thing like, for example, Glengarry Glen Ross, right, and you'd be like, what's this? Oh, it's Al Pacino's in it. This must be kind of good. And then you take it home and you just be blown away by these performances and the direction, and you'd be like, "Whoa, this is like the best movie ever!" And then you start to widen your taste. You go, "Okay, maybe I'll watch another movie by this director," or "Oh, I saw that one and it was by him." And I think that's kind of my favorite experience of videos, is just the discovery of it, because especially growing up in Girvan, because you've the video stores didn't really have that. They were small stores. They weren't like Blockbuster, where you went and it was like thousands of videos all over the place. It was like 2 or 3 walls, and the staff in there were actually quite knowledgeable as well. So you'd have conversations with them about movies, and that was kind of cool as well. So they'd get have you seen this one?
Yeah, it was a bit like going to a record store, wasn't it? But it was movies instead of records, because you went record stores all the time, and you never had that with movies until video came out. But my experience isn't actually movie related, but it is video shop related. I got a tip off that Jules Holland was in Girvan, where we grew up.
Tip off!
And he was. I went down to the high street and I searched for him, and he was outside the video shop, and I pushed him into the video shop and said, "Can you get a photograph of me?" And I got the girl behind the counter to take a photograph of the two of us back in the 90s.
That's a good experience.
Yeah, it was.
Jay's talking about, obviously feels like she's missing out on one of these experiences, but what she probably doesn't realise is that, although I think Jay must, I don't know, age Jay is, she'll kill me because I can't remember. But anyway, she's 20-something. I'm sure she'll be like, I'm 18. I'm like, I can't remember.
I know.
Jay, I love you. But what you probably don't realise, Jay, is that you were around when Blockbuster was around. Blockbuster, even though it came to a finish, it didn't become bankrupt or didn't go into administration that long ago, realistically. So she was probably Jay. You've probably been dragged into a Blockbuster on a Saturday night at one point.
But it was DVDs at that point, though.
It was DVDs. It wasn't VHS tapes.
It wasn't VHS.
But the thing I used to like,
just get better quality.
I think the experience I used to like was on a Friday night and a Saturday night going to Blockbuster. It was a slight reflection of going to the cinema, because there were queues. You actually had to queue up and get your DVD, and then you'd pick your Ben and Jerry's and whatever you wanted in your crisps, your popcorn, and it felt a little bit like the film because there was a queue in the video shop on a Saturday night, and on a Friday night as well. So Jay, you probably missed out. You can't remember that, but that stuff was kicking about when you were alive. You probably experienced it and not realised it.
I think you're getting mixed up with your DVDs and your VHSs. If your Ben and Jerry's, they weren't around. No chance.
No, they weren't. No, you're right. You're right. No, definitely DVDs. Definitely DVDs. And I also think the transition.
Although DVD shops were just as good, They were.
Yes.
Just as good.
Yeah. Did Blockbuster in Irvine? Did they do VHS or was that just all DVD? Was that old?
VHS for us was Girvan.
Yeah.
Anything else was VHS. Air and Irvine and I never knew. I wasn't in Troon, so I didn't know a shop in Troon that did VHS or DVD. But those guys were really into their movies. Like Sloan was saying, like Quentin Tarantino and stuff. That was their education. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
And because you would get things because of, and this might go on to the next topic, but by the actual cover, how they say don't judge a book by the cover, but sometimes the covers were better than the movie. I'm getting distracted because I saw Paul. Hey, any of you guys seen Host, the Zoom horror flick? Very
Hold
good.
On a second. Is that your impression of Paul? Can you do it in the style of Paul?
That is a terrible impersonation of Paul.
Definitely the sort of movie that would be a direct-to-video back in the day. Have you guys seen it?
No, I've not.
No.
I'm
just going to find out.
I don't like horror movies.
You'll be pleased to
I have
know,
heard
Paul.
of it, though. What's that?
I've seen it, Paul. And do you know what I did? I watched it on my tablet just for maximum effect because it's like a Zoom call and it's like a seance on a Zoom call. Me and everyone watched it. It's only 55 minutes long. It's on Shutter, I think. Shudder. Which is like an Amazon. You know how Amazon like to, you pay for Amazon, then there's all these extra things you need to pay for, like Shudder.
You pay for something else.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look Host up.
Stars as well, that's the other thing, isn't it? But it's really good, by the way. Very creepy. Evelyn doesn't normally get creeped out by things like that, and she was really creeped out, and so was I. I actually wet myself a little bit and creeped.
And was that through fear or another issue?
My tenor lady wasn't working that day.
Was it exciting for you?
No, it was very good. Very, very good. Very clever. I like these kind of isolation videos that independent movie.
Is that a found footage thing?
Especially no, it's like basically like what we're doing, but they're doing a seance. And there's little things in the background that it's very dark.
We're not doing anything like that.
By the way, it's very much like what we're doing just there because there's 3 people else on the call, so it is like, is there anybody out there?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Is there anybody there?
By the way, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's brilliant. We've had 2 or 3 more questions we thought we would have.
Of course. Do any of you guys, sorry to...
Yeah, it's really good.
Interrupt you, Jody. I'm just wondering, do you guys ever remember it got to a point where the film had come out of the cinema and however many years later it went into the video shop and that time shortened, maybe got to a year and I remember it getting to maybe 9 months. Yeah. And then I remember, as opposed to having 4 copies of the blockbuster that you wanted to see, they started to get 10 copies. They started to get 20 copies. And then eventually, after the kind of initial hype was over, they started to sell off those copies. And I remember for a film from go to the cinema to become a rental to then be on the shelf in John Menzies or W.H. Smith, it was like sometimes that could have been 2 years. they got to a point where the video shop would sell off their video cassette
I know.
of an ex-rental, and you would actually feel, well, I don't know if you guys experienced it, but I would just be like,
That was
30
gold
quid
dust.
for that. Aye, it was gold dust. I
dust.
think I got like, I can't remember what films it was,
It was
but I
cheaper
got a
than
couple.
30 quid. It was like cheaper than that, was it not?
It was more, it was,
I
I remember it being about 30 quid, and that was quite a lot of money back.
We got Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And we must have got Star Wars.
That's right, it was X-Rental, yeah.
Must have got the 3X rental.
Yeah.
But I remember, right, this is how old I am. I remember looking at my mum's catalogue, not for that reason, come on now. And they had a projector.
Oh.
And it was the old cine film you could buy, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. Do you remember that, Sloan? We begged my mum for it, and we never got it. It was like...
She could see its worth.
Can you imagine having that? It was the pre-VHS. It was like a version of that on cine film. That would have been amazing.
It's probably original cut as well.
Absolutely, aye.
Yeah.
If you want original cut, you can get it on Laserdisc, though.
Yeah.
Laserdisc. I was just going to ask about Laserdisc.
But that's another story.
That's a different YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my daughter, she still buys VHS cassettes. So I mentioned this in the podcast. So she went to Goodwill. She picked up a VHS player for like $7 or something, maybe $10, and they sell off the VHS cassettes for $1 a piece. So she has like all of Walt Disney's back catalog, Goodfellas, Godfather, like all these classic movies, and she paid $1 a piece for them.
Wow!
Do you remember,
and they're brand new quality, and the quality. By the way, people remember VHS as being terrible quality. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit blurry, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's nowhere near Blu-ray, obviously, but
no. Do you remember when Walt Disney used to release a limited run of
the Vault?
The Vault, yeah.
The Vault.
They'd release it for
the Vault.
They'd release it for like a limited amount of time, and then they'd withdraw it again, and then you couldn't get it. Like, you know, so like 2 years down the line, you're like, I remember Robin Hood was out or whatever. You know, I think I'll go and buy that, and you're like, no, we don't have it anymore. It's not released.
It's in the Vault.
They've
the Vault. I remember that.
As it were.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And now you can get Disney Plus. You can get everything that's still there.
That's right.
Apart from Indiana Jones, for some reason.
Paramount.
And a few others.
Oh.
It'll be rights because it's Paramount.
I know, it still bugs me though.
What are you gonna do? This is why you need to own the distribution. And this is what Disney knows about, is that's why they bought 20th Century Fox, because they've got good distribution. They own Buena Vista distribution. They now have a streaming service which has got 55 million subscribers to it. They own everything.
Should we talk about the fact that I know this has nothing to do with VHS, but just because we're talking about Disney Plus, the fact that Mulan's going straight to streaming, but you need to pay 30 quid for it.
That's my story.
Aye, you're not following the script, Jody.
That's my story.
Aye, that's it. Listen, can I just point something out? I don't know if everyone knows, but
just cut that bit out, Sloan.
Myself and Jody are we're in Ayrshire, and Sloan's in Canada. So, just if Sloan says buck, he's got good reason to say buck, as opposed to quid. Just want to point out to all our new listeners.
It's not just been hip and trendy.
I know, yeah. Although you are.
Although I am, yeah. I'm a huge big hipster.
And this is beer, not a urine sample. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, you're drinking beer this time?
Oh, okay.
This is not vodka.
Sloan, Gillian always says, "Oh, you guys are always drinking beer when you do these." When you do your YouTube thing, and Sloan's always drinking water. He's so good. I'm like, that's because it's like 5 o'clock over there.
I know.
He's just finished his work. I know. He's not good.
I get blasted at 5 o'clock.
By the way, we're not getting blasted. We're only having a couple of beers, man.
I know.
Shh,
secret safe for me. And the rest of the people here.
Yeah. Anyway,
cool. So listen, before we move on, I just wanted to say,
Jeez, Jody, you disappear. You need to raise yourself up a bit. So.
Before lockdown happened, we were planning a VHS night. Simon found a copy of Bill and Ted and a few other things, things in his folks' loft, as well as a player. Kev said he had a few things also. I wonder what that means.
Under the shelf numbers.
So I take it, Paul, this was do you guys still have any VHS from the old days? Yeah, well, no, I don't. And you know what? I used to. So this is a true story. So because we all know each other on the stream, our friend Douglas and I used to go out on a Friday night. But I would come home, and on the way home I would stop off at the Virgin Mega Store, and I would buy the latest Star Trek Voyager. And so I would go home, grab a shower, and then we'd head out for the evening to dance and all that kind of stuff. And then we would come back from the pub, and we would sit and watch 2 episodes of Voyager back to back, and we would tape Seinfeld. So we'd watch 2 episodes of Voyager and then Seinfeld as a chaser at the end of the night.
That's another point about that you've brought up about VHS. The amount of movies you must have taped off the telly.
Yeah, that's kind of what Paul's saying, and I think that's kind of what he's going with this here.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I don't have anything, Paul. Nothing.
No.
I know that Simon's got tapes. I know that our friend Simon, who Paul refers to there, has got cassette tapes of all his favourite bands and stuff. He's got all that stuff from way back, and I'm pretty sure that stuff warps to hell, does it not?
If you keep it,
you could tell us that better, but
yeah, if you keep
I
it,
thought the same about VHS. I must admit, but if you're saying they're pretty good quality still, good.
Yeah, I think if you keep them well, so if you keep them in like a cool-ish area, not too damp, not too hot, that kind of stuff, then I think they do last a long time. They're not as crap as everybody thinks they are. Same as cassettes as well. Cassettes will last. It's just that they
store them.
If you store them improperly, then they're going to degrade faster.
Paul, I don't have anything left out of my VHS collection, and I think the one thing I wish I still did have was the original Terminator, which I was given for Christmas one year, but don't have it anymore. There came to a point where I couldn't store the amount of VHS I had, and Sloan, I had all the Voyager ones. I used to buy them I think it was a Monday they were released, and it was every second Monday a new one would come out. I used to buy them all, and I just had shelves and shelves of them. Yeah. And I threw them all out. I didn't even give them away because I thought, see, in the future, no one's going to bother about this. No one is going to bother about this, and I totally regret it.
I think I dumped them off at Goodwill, or it wasn't Goodwill because it was the British Heart Foundation or whatever it was, and the women looked at me like, "What the hell am I supposed to do with these?" kind of thing. And I was like, "Someone's going to come in. Don't worry about it."
There's no point in selling them though because you get pennies for them. I know. It's just pointless.
So,
David, in a sealed tight container as well. You're Is he still talking about VHS?
I think so. Yeah.
Nice one, David.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, you got to get one of those the tote boxes. Those big plastic boxes that you can bolt shut.
Oh, you mean the ones that look like books, and they were all.
No,
remember those?
I remember them because that was how you showed how stylish you were. Was how many books you'd read, and so the people who made VHS cottoned onto this and went, "Do you know what we should do? We should make book covers for VHS cassettes, and then people will look intelligent when in fact it's just episode after episode of Corrie."
But that was also they had remember when VHS first came out and it was all the big plasticized videos that came together. It wasn't the thin plastic that clipped. It was a big kind of that type of design, the kind of book style, with the insert for the cover and the kind of molded plastic that your
soft molded plastic.
All that stuff.
It was a soft plastic, yeah.
And then they moved on to it was the size of the actual cassette, you know,
which was a bit of a cop out. Wasn't there a scene in Trainspotting where I haven't seen it in a long time, where they were squatting in someone's house or going over to someone's house, their mum and dad were there, and they were searching through all these videos and putting them on, and then they found some. I can't remember if it was the girl's mum and dad in a compromising video or whatever.
No, they record themselves, I think, don't they?
Oh, was that what it was? Aye, that's right. They record themselves,
and it's over. They recorded over Archie Gemmell's goal against Argentina
from 1978. Yeah.
Aye,
do you know? Actually,
they don't change the label. They don't change the label, so he's like, "Oh, I've never seen that goal for ages."
That's it. Aye.
So
that was VHS. It wasn't DVD, was it?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was VHS.
VHS, yeah.
That was VHS.
So to tie in Jay's question about experience and David's tight sealed containers, I'll tell you that the best experience that I ever had it wasn't in a video store, but it does involve VHS cassettes, and it was the ship's agent. So my dad, Jody and I's dad, was in the Merchant Navy, and we would go to sea with him occasionally, and when we got into port, they would bring in all the new cassettes, all the new VHS cassettes, and that was brilliant because they would just dump them in the middle of the saloon, and then everybody else is busy because they're all working.
That was when we were completely uncensored, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
because
it was
get through we'd get through all the English spoken stuff, then we get through all the Korean movies, we'd get through everything, watch everything, and I mean everything.
But that was exciting. but that was exciting.
Everything.
Everything. Although there's a green box which we never got a hold of. There was a blue box, but there was another green box as well, which was the Daddy movies. Anyway, no,
I thought you were paused there. I thought Sloan's frozen.
No, I saw my dad. They was getting packed off, and I said, "Well, what's the green box?" And he went, "Don't you worry about that one." So I was like,
that's just for Dad.
Oh yeah,
Even though I was only a year younger, I missed out on that conversation.
Anyway, but opening that up, and then you just see all these VHS boxes inside, and it was all plain label. It was all the plastic container, but it had just a little typed up label that said Gallipoli on it, and you're like, "What the hell's Gallipoli?" We saw Independence Day, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time, and it stars Diane Weiss and Cliff DeYoung, I think it is the guy, and it is not Independence Day with They May Take Our Lives in Freedom, that the president's speech. It's not that one.
It's about domestic violence.
It's about domestic violence, and it is a fantastic movie. It's a really good movie.
All right,
that and Gallipoli, and you're talking about a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old watching these movies like this,
or younger. Maybe younger.
Just wide-eyed, thinking this is like the best thing
ever. I watched that Independence Day quite a number of times. It's a bit domestic violence.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
You guys watched that as kids, aye?
Yeah, man. We watched all these Korean stuff, Korean movies, and we did, kung fu stuff, and we didn't care what we were watching. We loved it. Every single thing. Yeah.
VHS kung fu.
Aye. Well, that was.
That's a good thing. That's a good. Used to watch a lot of that stuff. I remember going to the States and then going to the States and bringing back a VHS and then try to play it over here, and it's just like,
oh no,
basically break your machine. Anyway, that was those days. One VHS I remember having, and it was an absolute classic. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It was called North Sea Hijack with Roger Moore. Never see it, no.
Rings a bell now. You say Roger Moore.
Rings a bell. Yeah, I was just like, it was his only other really recognisable role other than Bond. But that was the only other, apart from Terminator, that was my only other favourite VHS.
Yeah.
So cool.
There you go.
Anyway, I think we'll call it a night there.
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll end on a high. Thank you all for coming along, asking questions, and participating in the stream. If you like, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, smash the notification bell, and all that kind of good stuff. And you guys you got any last things you want to say before we close the stream?
James?
I just want to say peace. That's me.
Yeah. Nice one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks for contributing. And please subscribe, please like, and all that good stuff.
Cool.
And thanks again. And we'll catch you in the
We'll
next
see
one.
you next time.
We'll post it up and you'll know. Bye.
See you guys.
Apparently I'm live.